Hi, I'm Ashley Bullington, and you're watching The Warmup, presented by your local Houston area Geico agents in Cypress, Spring, Pearland, and East Houston. Last week, we had some great games in the Houston area, including Magnolia's win in the Magnolia Bowl that earned them our local Houston area Geico Agents Team of the Week. There's going to be just as much action this week on Chevys Inside High School Sports as we have some big-time matchups.
It is the second round of playoffs, and up first we will have El Campo versus Kilgore. The Ricebirds are 9-1 on the season and had a big win over Yates, 63-6, in the first round of playoffs. They dominated the ground game as they had a total of 372 yards rushing on the night, with junior John Trey Davis leading the pack as he had 121 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. El Campo is favored in this one according to Max Preps by 6 points. Brazosport and Huffman Hargrave will also go head-to-head on Friday night for a regional showdown. Brazosport is 4-6 on the season as they took on Wheatley in the first round of playoffs. The Exporters are ready to go for what's going to be a tough game. The Falcons have been soaring high as they are 9-1 in 2020. This team has been tough to beat as their lone loss for the season came at the hands of the Livingston Lions. The Falcons aren't a high-scoring team, but it is said defense wins championships. Cy Park and Langham Creek go head-to-head at FCU Stadium tomorrow night. Both of these teams are 4-4 overall and 3-3 in district for the 2020 season. This game has big playoff implications as the winner of this one will almost certainly take the 4th and final playoff spot in District 16-6A. Cy Park is currently on a 3-game losing streak going into Friday and needs to turn it around tomorrow night. Running back Nathan Livingston has been averaging 123 rushing yards a game for the Tigers, and they will need him to come up big. The Lobos, on the other hand, have quarterback Tanner Murray, who's averaging 285 total yards per game. The Lobos are on a flip-flop of wins and losses. With them beating Cypress Fall last week, they need to break the streak if they want to go to playoffs. Shadow Creek and Pearland Dawson go at it on Friday night for our game of the week. The Sharks lost 2 games at the beginning of the season, but have been full steam ahead ever since. In their new 6A district, they are 4-0, as they beat the Pearland Oilers last week. Kyron Drones is averaging 200 total yards per game. Dawson is currently 6-0 in district play, and with a win will solidify their number 1 spot in 23-6A. The Eagles are favored by 9 points in this one by Max Preps and will be leaning heavily on James Kramer, who averages 132 passing yards per game. This is going to be a matchup you don't want to miss.
Some really big games this week. That Shadow Creek versus Pearland Dawson game is going to be a good one. And you'll be able to catch all of the highlights on this week's Chevys Inside High School Sports. Also, make sure you vote on our Hot Play of the Week poll presented by Louisiana Hot Sauce for a chance for your community to move on to compete for the Play of the Year. Here's last week's winner. On this week's Chevy's Inside High School Sports, we have a great story on the Woodlands volleyball team who's making their run in playoffs. The Highlanders have 5 D1 players on this squad that are getting national recognition and breaking career records. But over the summer, they had a huge scare as one of their own had a life-threatening situation.
Julietta went into a sudden cardiac arrest, just out of the blue, and no one knew that she had any kind of underlying condition. So it was scary. She was out for over 20 minutes. That they had to keep performing CPR to keep her alive, and it's amazing that she's, recovered from that. Not fully, she's still rehabbing and getting there, but just imagining that she can even get to play volleyball again one day is crazy. It's just such a blessing, and I see how grateful she is, and she's become such an ambassador for even the American Heart Association, just wanting to get out there and tell other people that you can get through this.
The Woodlands are in the playoffs and beat Dawson in 3 sets on Monday. Last week, we gave our Grimaldi's MVP bobblehead to Landon King. And now let's see what King wants to put in our Inside High School Sports time capsule.
My favorite memory of high school, probably, it was one of our last practices when we were about to play North Shore. And, we had, Dylan and Darius that are both at UH. Man, those are my guys. And I think what really in it makes me kind of emotional because it's like, they brought like I told you, like I came in and I moved here. They just brought me in under their wing, and I'm like, man, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, I'm finna be a senior like after this, and man, we lost, and then after that next Sunday we all just got together. We were just all laughing and playing and everything. That's got to be my favorite memory, man. Probably it's just hanging out with them. And now it's like I'm a leader of this team now, and I was taking the same footsteps as them, you know. So I mean, that's probably my favorite memory right there.
King and the Eagles take on North Shore this week in a battle for the top spot of 21-6A. Here on the warm-up, we'd like to recognize athletes and teams outside of the events we typically cover on Inside High School Sports that are doing big things on and off the field. This week, we're going to introduce you to another Atascocita Eagle, Katy Samusi.
Katy just signed her national letter of intent to the University of Texas. Her 2021 Longhorn class ranked 7th overall in the nation. Katy is rated number 12 in extra innings softball's 2021 Elite 100 player rating. She's the number 5 overall catcher. Katy heads to the 40 acres with an impressive resume in tow, both a 2019 TGCA 6A All-State and a 2018 TXSWA Collins Street Bakery 6A All-State selection. She was also named to the All-Tournament team while helping power Atascocita High School to the 2018 Texas Girls Class State 6A Championship. Over her first 3 seasons, she hit 503 overall, with 124 hits, 33 doubles, 25 home runs, and 115 RBIs to go along with a .563 on-base percentage.
Congrats to Katy on all of her accomplishments. Come back every week to see who we highlight here on the warm-up. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part, the extra point. Let's see if you can beat Ruben Feathery in this week's game.
Big Deuce, Big Red, Big E, Big Z, Big Godzilla, King Kong, The Mountain. Dang, I'm trying to think. That's about it. Hold on. There's a couple more. The light pole, the tree.
Last week we had Veterans Day, and the Dickinson High School Athletic Director and Head Coach John Snelson was awarded the Vietnam Veterans Texas State Council Heart of Patriotism Award during a special presentation at the Fieldhouse. This award was given to a K through 12th grade educator who promotes and encourages patriotism amongst his or her students. Coach Snelson currently has 2 children who are serving in the armed forces. That's all we have for this week's episode. Follow all of Inside High School Sports social accounts to stay up to date on everything going on in the high school sports scene. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube that throughout the week will get you ready for the main event, Chevys Inside High School Sports on KHU 11 at 11 p.m. hosted by Matt Musil. Thanks for watching this week's episode of The Warmup, presented by your local Geico agents in Cypress Spring, Pearland, and East Houston. To get more information or a quote, go to geico.com/Houston. I'm Ashley Bullington, and I hope you're as ready as I am for all of the gridiron action.